All right. I want every one of our male listeners to go get your woman, go get your sister, go get your daughters, because this next episode that we gonna bring is gonna be, can women submit to their man? You don't want to miss this conversation, because when men
Fellas, tell
talk,
them.
yes, you
Right, just
might
listen.
want to listen. Yes.
Fellas, tell them. Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake, anime.
Get a little bit of gasoline. Welcome to another gas.
This the 614.
I'm gonna set
Sunday
your
Black.
face
See, we
on
got
fire.
one. Yeah, JL,
Let's
what
get
up?
higher.
Let's go. Fiat cash, cryptocurrency, State of the Union. This is black man urgency. This is for God. This is for green. Black fist in the air. If you ever had a dream, hey, what he do? What he say? What they talk about today? Keep it close to the kings. Circled around you. Now that was for dinner. Pay the chef in the kitchen. When men talk, you need to listen.
What's up, our people? Hey, look, we have a special request. We need to know what you want us to talk about. So hit us up on our Instagram page, hit us up on all of our platforms, When Men Talk the Show, and let us know what you want us to bring into your households via our crazy minds. All right, let us know, because when men talk,
You might just want to listen.
yes.
Love it. Subscribe always, y'all. I love it. I love it. So the definitive definition of a heterosexual couple is characterized as a man and a woman. This truth is evident in most cultures and society, right? Okay. The alpha male chooses a female. Somewhere we got the idea that caveman courtship involves a man clubbing a woman over the head and dragging her by the hair to his cave, where they would presumably copulate with an unconscious or otherwise unwilling woman. Even in the oldest written text, the Epic of Gilgamesh, women play an important role, but subservient to the hero. Even the Bible discusses a woman's role as being a helpmate to her husband, and that has been misconstrued as, subservient. It is also widely debated that she take a back seat to her husband. In parts of the Middle East, women are not even allowed to ride in the passenger seat, let alone drive, but they are regulated to riding in the trunk of a car. The topic of tonight's discussion is, can women submit to a man? I'd also challenge you to another question. Can a man submit to a woman? Let's talk about it.
Submitting to a woman could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick.
It's not like a little playground area, you know what I mean?
That's a conversation.
Do what my wife tells me to do.
Yes, twice.
So I'm gonna go a little biblical on y'all, real quick. Ephesians 5:22 says, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the lead, is the head of the wife, as the church is the head of the church. Now, as the church submits to the Christ, so should wives submit to their husbands. Now, but fellas, before you start stroking your ego, in Ephesians 5:25, it says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy and cleansing. So that eliminates a whole lot of fellas because we're not leading our women the right way. So to answer your question, yes, ladies can submit, but fellas, have you done your part?
So you just dropped every mic that we have up on here right now. Mic just dropped.
Some more H2O up in here.
Yeah, so I gotta go there with you, Z. I gotta go there with you because see, we gotta women tune in real quick. Submission is not a cuss word. Submission is under one mission. And what my brother just said, Z, from the biblical standpoint, if men are submitted to God, then you should have no right. You shouldn't have no issue with being able to submit to them. The key point is what he just said, is that if you're not submitted, and if you're not, and then I think it's a two-way street with Sunday Challenges with their question. Can we submit to women? We should also be submitted to one another. meaning under the mission. And what I think, you can get caught up in the slave days times, the caveman times where it's not, women are not a doormat. Women have power, women have intellect, and quite frankly, a lot of women can run the household probably better than a lot of men. What you have to do is have communication. I come to you, Jared. Have communication in there and find out where the strengths are in your relationship and be able to submit to one another in the areas that you're strong in. I mean, and submit to the areas that you're weak in and let them lead in the areas that they're strong in. And I think that's where submission comes into play. If they're a better bookkeeper, if they're better, let them submit. They do it better than me, go ahead and do it. And then vice versa on the other end.
All right. So in total agreement with Charles, what you kind of described is like the perfect partnership, as well it should be, right? But what all three of you guys have kind of brought up, as I'm taking some notes here, is that from what Charles and Z kind of referenced with great impact, is that if a woman does not feel comfortable with submission, it can be, if you're going to have a fault, and whose fault it is, it falls on the brothers, because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing in order to make them feel comfortable enough to submit. Did I pick up on the right thing from what y'all saying?
At least from what I'm saying, that's where I come into play. I don't know if
I
that's
hear you.
where Z was coming.
I can see if a lot of women are listening, I can see them going and nodding for real. Because the interesting point,
they have no issue submitting if they understand that you're not just going on your own intellect, right? And that's where that biblical term comes from. If you're not going on your own intellect, like you're not the best at doing stuff, but if they know that you're submitted, then they don't have a problem most of the time.
I'm with you 100%. Because when you talk to a lot of these very strong women, the one thing that they have in common is that they can't find a man that's strong enough. Now, we can always say, and I know when we sipping on something, water, Diet Coke, liquor, that we will say that they challenge us to the point where we cannot, honor them the way that they should. But I tend to think that with so many of our women, especially in our community, who are raising our households and raising our male children, that there must be a problem. Because if they are raising our kids, then obviously we may be slipping a little bit. What y'all think?
I think that's very valid. Men have to take the responsibility to actually be the man that they want. But here's how I got, here's how my wife and I did. I agree with what Charles said. If there are things that you are not adequate at, then you need to fall back and let her do it. Okay. So for example, y'all know I love my crypto. I love to do crypto. And just recently, I found out that, these capital gains are going to get taxed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They gonna get taxed. My wife is the professional when it comes to doing the taxes. So I don't know that, she does. So I can get the crypto going, but in terms of the taxes, she can show me how to get that squared away. You know what I mean? So I have to submit on that level and say, okay, you need to humble yourself and shut up and listen to her, because she's going to keep us out of prison. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but what I want to say is, with my wife and I, man, how it rocked off first, what message are we sending in a relationship, like a budding relationship? What message are we sending, right? So, for example, you meet a woman, you're dating, you pay for a movie, you pay for gas, you pay for food, you pay for drinks. What do you get at the end of the night? Or what do you get at the end of, what is the expectation of that? We can all say, oh, we were just good and we were just, going out to have a good time. But at the end of the night, you less money than she less money. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm like with my wife, I was like, we just gonna go Dutch. I like you a lot, but I ain't trying to break my pockets for this. You want to go see this movie? I'll pay for the movie. You go ahead and pay, get us some food.
See, right there.
Because look, it's an investment. It is an investment, though. You are investing into that person. So a guy at the bar, he buys her a drink. What is he? What really? What, he ain't just buying a drink because he just, I'm just gonna buy you a drink. No, he trying to get, you dig? He trying to get in them draws. I'm just saying, for real. That's what he's doing. But see, here's the deal. If she's interested, I'll buy the first round. I got the second round. You understand what I'm saying? It's an investment. You have to invest into your partner because that's what it's going to end up being. It has to be an investment. So with the underlying expectation of that being known, you set a standard. You see what I'm saying? And you said, and it's the same pretty much thing that you said, Charles. Like, okay, I'm not doing this. You do that. I'm better with the kids. You better with, you know what I mean? And it has to be that type of a balance. And I think once you secure that balance, she will submit.
And to that point, just real quick, Sunday, what you're saying right there, that investment, because you'll see married couples who have been married for 20 years, 25 years or whatever, and they've been investing for 20 plus years, right? And then you go to a cookout or you go to a family gathering, and they see the woman making the plate for the dude and doing all this type of stuff. And they're like, hold up, why are you doing that for him? Well, they don't understand the background that he's been serving her and feeding her love tank and feeding her everything that she needs for her stability, right, for 20 plus years. And then they see this and they're like questioning her, messing up the household. And see, like what you said, I like that. Like you said, it's an investment. When you get a submission, it's because you've been invested. You submitted yourself to her and provided her everything she needs over these years. And that's just the give and take that you'll get in a relationship.
Yeah, I think, you know, when in pop culture, you have like, let's look at Beyonce, who is the baddest.
The other B, right? The other B?
Yeah, the other B. Yes. The other B. Yeah.
That's a great verse, right?
She does songs that empower women to not need a man. Well, at least not have the man as the focus of her being. Like what is that? I'll upgrade you or something like that. She got a song like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then one of my favorite artists, Lizzo. She has a line in her song that's stellar to me. It goes, "Why men great till they gotta be great?" That says so dang much. And when I heard that line, I was like, girl, what you trying to say? But it's real. It's really real. And the fact that these women are so popular is because they're touching that sensitivity where a woman's like, okay, I got beat down by this dude, not physically, but emotionally and financially. And then you got these artists who come along and empower us to be and where we don't need them and da 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 da. So this topic is probably pretty real to a lot of folks, especially a lot of females who want to possibly submit, enjoy submission.
They don't have
the word. Say it again, Charles.
But they don't have an example.
Exactly that. That. Go ahead, Z.
No, I think you're right on point when you say there are a lot of women that want to submit. I think there are a lot of women that want to submit. I have the term I say, the in the meantime, meaning that a lot of women are with a guy in the meantime until they find the right one. So going back to something that Charles and Sunday mentioned about the investment, there's a term ROI, or acronym ROI, return on investment. So with my wife and I think about from the beginning of our relationship, there was always some submission from me and there was always some submission from her. And my submission to her allowed her to reciprocate submission to me because it wasn't going to always be about her being submissive to me. So I understood that and say, okay, well, there are certain things that I must do in this relationship to let her know that I uplift her, and I'll bow down and wipe her feet if necessary, or pick her up and carry her over the threshold if I need to. And then I know that she'll do the same thing for me. I'll never forget when we first met, I had a furniture gallery at the time, and my insurance had lapsed. And I think Sunday told a story similar to this earlier. He said he was broke down. Somebody said he was broke down for season 1. And my foot swole up, man. It was like elephantitis or some junk. So I went to the hospital, man, and the doctor told me, well, your insurance is lapsed. And I'm sitting there with one shoe on and one shoe off. And I'll never forget going back to her apartment. We were just dating. And she paid for them to suck whatever venom or whatever was going on out of my foot for the swelling to go down. And I knew then, like, you know what? This one right here is a ride or die. So she submitted to me by bringing me food and icing me and doing everything she needed to do. So once I was able to stand up again, I made sure she would never want anything best that I could. So I think throughout our relationship and even in us getting married, I mean, we've had our conversations about things where she's like, you think you're my dad. And I turn around and say, that's because sometimes you want me to be your daddy. But, you know, that's another conversation.
That's a different kind of submission.
And so,
we're going to talk about that one day, though.
Yeah, but in that, you know, I respect her wholeheartedly as the woman in the position that she plays. And I look at her as an extension of me. And I try to be an extension of her. So whenever I need to submit, I submit. And my pops is one of them that, there you go. He henpecker. He a henpecker. You know, that's the term they used to use back in the 70s. He a henpecker. And we laugh and we joke about it. But then at the same time, I see him, when my mama say jump, he sometimes say, oh, ah. And then he try to play it off like he didn't respond that way. So I do feel like they can submit and they want to submit, but you have to lead them in the right direction. Because I know my wife not going down a dark alley that she's not sure of if it's a dead end or not.
Yeah. You just brought up something that, you know, when I mentioned topics, that's a topic where we have our listeners get on, our male listeners get on and talk about the women in their lives and celebrate how freakingly amazing they are. Because when I made a bad business move and it had to do with losing a property, and you know, Kathy and I Z knows I say she is the baddest bee, 100% the baddest bee. You know, she started writing checks and putting them in my account just so that I would feel like I am not absolutely losing my mind. And, you know, she did it without asking for it back. You know, I know she was probably struggling, but she just did it. And when you have somebody like that, then yeah, it's easy for us to, as we say, submit to changing how we are, changing our standoffishness, watching those TV shows that we would not normally watch because we know they want to watch it and they want to cuddle under us to watch the show. Or in my particular, all of them, bro, soap operas, or sit there and listen to her read a romance novel. Hey, I want to leave the room, but again, you know, it's those moments that we know, and when we look at her and we know that she is just in love just because, you know what I mean? Those are the moments where you want to just like grab down on somebody said rub her feet, because you know that she's ride or die. And I think we don't celebrate that enough. What y'all think?
Man.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I mean, it's something that we have to, if these are our queens, as we say they are, then there is nothing but God above that. You know what I'm saying? And we should treat them like that always. You know, with me, here's a quick story with me, man. When we got married, right before we got married, she wanted a ring. I was like, I'm not buying a ring. You know, I was like, you know, we need to get a dresser. You know what I'm saying? We got stuff on the floor. You know what I'm saying? She gonna kick me. But when I was like, I'm not gonna buy a ring. I'm not gonna do that. I said, baby, I hook you up later, but we ain't gonna buy no ring. So I bought a dresser.
See? I'm talking about what?
We had stuff on the floor. We didn't have we had a mattress that was we didn't have a box spring, none of that. We just had the mattress on the floor. I said, babe, we gotta get our stuff off the floor. We need a dresser. You know, we need a box spring for the mattress. I ain't gonna do that.
Man, what else?
You know, she sucked it up and she saw that I was right. And I was like, all right, this is what it is. We gotta look beyond this superficial stuff, and we gotta make moves. And that's what it is, man. This business, man, because I ain't trying to be, you know, out and you got a ring, that what it's free, you know. But long story short, man, we do exalt our women, and we have to make sure that we're taking care of our women. And even if it's not in what they think is their best interest, we know we have to have their best interest at hand. So yeah, I got that dress.
Sunday, what you really want to say was anime, eat the cake. Eat the cake, anime. That's what you want to say, didn't you? I'm just playing, man. You know, I'm just playing.
Y'all wrong for that.
We heating up on season 2, baby. Because when men talk,
you might want to listen.
Yeah, man. Eat that cake.